Yep. Good evening, everyone. So last session we discussed about all some advanced options of JavaScript functions. So one more concept we will see. We will discuss about JavaScript object-oriented programming in JavaScript. Actually, general in JavaScript concepts you will learn. Here I will highlight some concepts which we need in React. That's major things we will discuss. Actually, in general JavaScript object-oriented programming. So what is purpose of object-oriented programming? Why we need object-oriented programming? What is the necessity of object-oriented programming? What do you say? Reusability. Okay. Next. What else? Extensibility, reusability, extensibility. What else? Actually, in real-time programming, we use different types programming systems. We have POPS, OBPS, OOP, like this. Process-oriented programming system, object-based programming system, object-oriented programming system. Process-oriented programming system, POPS is actually process-oriented programming system. This you will learn in JavaScript, just idea I will give. Actually, process-oriented programming system, example like C, Pascal, COBOL, all these comes under that category. Object-based programming system like actually JavaScript, VB, these comes under this category. Visual Basic, these comes under that category. Object-oriented programming system like C++, like so programming systems are different types. Process-oriented programming system, object-based programming system, object-oriented. Now, in this object-oriented programming system, what are the features of object-oriented programming system is? One is okay. So let's continue here. So what are the major features of object-oriented programming? In the features, one is code reusability and code extensibility and code security and loosely coupled. All these are the features of OOP. Dynamic memory, all these are features. Reusability, extensibility, security, loosely coupled, and dynamic memory. These are all the key features of OOPs. Generally, when you are learning OOP languages, you will learn that polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, they are not features. They are actually characteristics of OOPs. They are called characteristics. Features means reusability, extensibility. But remember, there are some drawbacks also. Issues with object-oriented programming, some drawbacks also there. What are the drawbacks is actually one of the main drawback, object-oriented programming will not support low-level features. It will not support low-level features. If it is not supporting low-level features, it cannot directly interact with hardware. It cannot directly interact with hardware. Then it will be slow and it will be heavy. So object-oriented programming is not great every time. For example, air condition, washing machine, refrigerator, microwave ovens, these are also controlled with a software. You will have a remote, you will have buttons. By using that, you will turn on fan speed, you will rotate the fan. That is also software, but it is not Java.NET like that, because they are heavy. They need lightweight, because in a small chip, they need to maintain a program. That program should directly communicate with hardware. Hardware means fan and compressors. They need to directly interact. So OOP languages cannot do. That is the reason there they use embedded systems. Embedded system, C language. Why? Because C supports low-level features. It can directly interact with hardware. It is faster. Suppose you see, take two mobiles. One mobile is Android. Another, it's cost 20-30,000 Android phone. And another mobile is, you have a Symbian operating system. Symbian operating system means character mode phones are there. Character mode phones will be there. That means no smartphone. That will be 1,000 rupees, 1,500. You will get a smart normal phone, character mode. You turn on these two phones, the character mode, this Symbian, it will start fast. It will never hang up. It will respond fast. But your Android phone still loading. It will hang up certain times. It will be slow in responding. So if you want features, you need to compromise with speed. You need to compromise with the memory, right? So object-oriented programming needs more memory. They are slow. They are very heavy. They are complex. That is the reason they don't suit everywhere. Object-oriented programming is good, but not great every time. In certain applications, we don't need that. So JavaScript, actually, JavaScript is not an OOP language. JavaScript is not an OOP language. This is very important. It supports only few features of OOP. It is not a complete OOP language. So you should never say JavaScript is OOP language. JavaScript is not an OOP language. It supports only some features of OOP. Later, I will tell you TypeScript. That TypeScript is an OOP language. Now React developers have to able to develop React application with both JavaScript and TypeScript, because some projects are using JavaScript, some projects are using TypeScript. So as a React developer, you have to learn one more language that later I will tell you. So we have to learn a language TypeScript, and we have to use that language for building React. So React applications are built with complete OOP language, and they are built with without OOP language with JavaScript. So React developers in the current generation must have idea of both, because projects are using somewhere JavaScript, some places TypeScript. First, we will learn complete React with JavaScript, then we will go with TypeScript. So in JavaScript, it will not support all features, only some. Those features we will see now. What are the OOP features and how they are very important for our React. In that object-oriented programming, first thing you need to learn is the first concept you need to learn JavaScript. In JavaScript, first you need to learn modules. The first concept you need to understand is about modules. In JavaScript, this is very important. Actually, what is a module and how these modules work? What is the concept of module? Your all technologies depends on this module systems. This module system. Actually, a module is nothing but module is a set of functions. It is a set of functions, values, and classes. Technically, in JavaScript, module is a set of functions, values, and classes. Some set of classes, some set of functions, and set of values are kept in a module. Generally, why we need a module? Actually, module is required to build a library for project. That means in order to build a library for project, you need module. Modules are required for building a library. What is the purpose of library? So actually, library enables reusability. That means certain functions you need everywhere, certain values you need everywhere. Then you don't need to write everywhere. We will maintain in a module, we will import those modules, and we will use those modules. So what is advantage of library is you can import library in any project. For example, see, suppose actually here, so we are building a module. In a module, we will keep some values, we will keep some functions, and we will keep some classes. What are values, function, classes? I will tell you. We will see that. Now, what is the point is you are developing application. That means you are building a project. So you are building different applications. You are building lot of applications. For example, you are building an app 1 and you are building an application 2. Now, in that, you need certain functionality. Now, no need to write the functionality. You can import this module and you can use it. That means whatever the module you built, you can import the module and you can use the module. So without writing, we can just import and use. That means it enables reusability. You can import and you can use. So any location in any project we can use it. In any project we can use. So modules are very important to build a library, and your React is a library. What we discussed about React.js is a library. It is a JavaScript library for building effective user interfaces. That means here everything is done by using modules. Modules play the key role in building a React application. So you need to be very strong in understanding and working with modules, because entire work is modules. Here React is a library, and a library means you need to be very strong in module systems. So technically, a set of values, a set of functions, a set of classes we keep in a module, and we can import those modules and use them. So in order to use these modules in any project, directly JavaScript modules will not work in any project. Actually, to use modules in a project, we need module systems. We need module system. Module system. We need module system. Module system is mandatory to have. JavaScript requires a module system. If that module system is not installed, then modules will not work. In JavaScript, if you want to use modules, then a separate module system must be installed. Latest version of JavaScript, they come with module systems. Actually, JavaScript have a lot of module systems. Like JavaScript module system, we have like UMD, like AMD, like common JS, common JS. We have like require JS. These are all module systems. This is very, very important. Suppose you are working in a project. In that project, already that company is using UMD system. Means already their backend project is using UMD system. Now you want to use React in that project. Then you directly install React and try to use. Then it will have a conflict. Conflict is nothing but React says that currently your project is using some AMD module system, but in React I have this UMD module system. It is not compatible. That means you have to use exactly the same module system of React, because React people provide two libraries. They will provide AMD library, UMD library, common JS library, like that. According to your project requirements, you have to install suitable library. If you miss that compatibility, your project will not work. That means React people have given library for different module systems. You have to install proper correct module system. If you don't do that, then it will not work. For example, I will show you here. See, this is actually React.js official website. This is React.js official website. As I already told you, it is a JavaScript library. Let's go to docs. Docs means documents. In the document, they will give you detailed information how to use React in a project. Here you will find, see, CDN links. CDN links means library. Library, to use React in your project, you need library. Okay, I selected that library. When I selected the library, you can see they given the library in two ways. You see, they given UMD library. Understood? They given UMD library. That is UMD. That is UMD library. They given an UMD library That is what they have given. They haven't given other libraries. That means React is providing only one library, UMD. But your project may be using some AMD library, module system. Then you have to install separate React library suitable for AMD. If you link this file and try to use React, it will not work because your project module system is different, React module system is different. How to get our module related library, that I will show you when we start creating React application. We will learn about that. That means what is the meaning of this UMD now? I hope you understood. That means what is UMD? Universal module distribution. AMD is asynchronous module distribution. Actually, this is a module system. In that module system, they provided a library. We have to import and use. When you are working with JavaScript module system, you should know the module system. Actually, to use modules in any project, you need to set up module system. You need to set up module system. Actually, there are various module systems like UMD. This is universal module distribution. You have AMD, asynchronous module distribution. We have like common JS. We have like require JS like this. And which version of JavaScript we are using? If you are using JavaScript ES6 and above, then it uses a module system called CommonJS. It uses a module system called CommonJS. By default, JavaScript and higher versions inbuilt, they use a module system called CommonJS. They use that module system called CommonJS. Observe carefully. You remembered we installed ESLint. We installed ESLint. We configured ESLint. Let's go to the project now. In the project, let's see ESLint rc.json. Let's open this file. You will find here. So here it is showing some option. What is it? Environment. And you can see ES 2021. And you can see source type is module. It is showing source type as module. Let's go to package JSON. When we go to package JSON, you can see this is package JSON. In this package JSON, it will show the details of everything what we are using in our project. These are so many details. Actually, what we can do is in these details later you can see here, these are all details. And you can see ESLint version, everything it is coming. Actually, in ESLint.json, we can add which module system to use also. That means we can define which module system to use. We can write like module, which module system to use. We can define which module system to use. You can define the module system name. Actually, the name of module system, you can say like CommonJS. Like this we can do. That means now your project will use which module system? CommonJS. Actually, why it is not given? Because by default JavaScript uses module system called CommonJS. If you are using a different module system, then what you have to do is you have to import and install and use it. We need to import, install and use it. A different module system means you have to do it. that you are going to learn when you are dealing with JavaScript and React applications you will learn. As of now, is there any necessity to mention the module system? Not required. Directly JavaScript is enabled with module system. You start using it anywhere. Directly browsers also have a module system. Internally browser is also having a module system. So directly module system is defined. So in order to work with modules, you need to know this concept. Is it clear? So what is a module? Module is a set of values, functions and classes, right? Values means variables. In variables we store the data. Functions are JavaScript functions. Classes are, we will see, JavaScript classes. We can create classes and configure. And module system is required for, why we need a module system? To build a library. What is the purpose of building a library? To enable reusability, extensibility, maintainability, testability we can achieve by using module system. Now, which module system JavaScript internally have? It have a module system called common JS. And which module system React supports? Actually React supports UMD, AMD, different module systems. Based on that, we can import the libraries and use them. Later we will see that. Now the question here is how to create and use the modules. How do we create and use the modules? So let's see how do we create the modules. So creating a module. How do we create a module? Very simple. Actually, a module is JavaScript file. A module is JavaScript file. That means you created some product.js, then automatically module name is product. The module name is product. The file name that you given for a JavaScript file, that file name is used as module name. That means every JavaScript file is considered as a module. Understood? Every JavaScript file is considered as a module. That means you create a JavaScript file. That means you created a module. So in that you can keep everything. So every module, a module is JavaScript file. You created a JavaScript file, the module name will be that file name. That means you given like, so employee.js, then automatically module name is what? Module name is employee. So modules are created by using a simple JavaScript file. Let's do that. I will do like this. Let's go to the project. In this project, we will maintain a separate folder. In this project, already some folders are there. I will maintain a separate folder by name library. We have a folder called library. In that library folder, we will add another folder called modules. Modules. You can see in library we have modules. Because in library we can have modules, we can have services, we can have factories, like that. So many divisions will be there. Your wish, you can maintain anywhere. I'm just creating a separate folder called modules. In that we will add a new file. Every module is a JavaScript file. I will give the file name as, suppose, demo module. I will say demo module.js. It is not necessary to give the extension as suffix as module. I'm just giving reasonably. What is this module name? Demo module. It is not necessary. You can just give demo.js. I'm just giving reasonably the name module, right? Okay. Now you can see this is a JS file. In this, I am creating a simple constant, and here variable name is username is equal to, I am saying some John. After that, I am writing a function, and in that function I said hello. So this hello function is going to return some details. Detail is nothing but it is going to return hello and that username. That means we will call that username. Now in your module, you have two members. One is variable, another one is a function. So data is present in that variable and functionality is in that function. Now the point is, whatever you defined in a module, they are accessible only in this module. They are not accessible outside. That means here first thing you should know is every module so keeps its members as private. Every module keeps its members as private. That means you cannot access them outside module. You cannot access them outside module. So if you want to access any member outside module, then you have to mark it with export. You have to mark it with the word export. If you want to access any member outside the module, you have to mark it as export. That means, so suppose you say constant, so username is equal to John. If you are using this username inside that module only, that's okay, no problem. We don't need to do anything. But if you want to access outside and use it in any another module, then you have to mark it. You have to mark it as export. You have to mark it as export. Suppose you are writing a function. So you are writing a function. Some hello is the function. And you want to access this function outside the module, then you have to mark it as export. Is it necessary to mark every member in a module as export? Not required. If you are using that member inside that module only, no need. If you want to access outside, then you have to mark it as export. So you see now. So we will see here. So we don't need this outside to access because we are accessing only inside. But this function need to be accessed outside. Then what we have to do here, say export. In a module, there can be so many functions. For example, I am creating another function, export function, welcome. This function is having some message. That means, so it is having some console.log, say welcome to, so some JavaScript modules like this I am writing. This is another function. Any number of functions you can have in a module, but if you want those to be accessed outside, then you have to mark them as export. That is how we need to define. Okay, done. Your library is ready. In that library, you have two functions which are designed for reusing everywhere, right? So if I haven't mentioned export, it is not reusable across. It is reusable only within the file, within the module. Okay, now your module is ready. Where you want to use this module? We will use this in index.js. In index.js, we want to use that library. In that library, we have two functions. One is hello function, another one welcome. So I want to use that library in this index.js. Then first we have to import the library. We have to import library. We have to import two functions. What are those two functions? In the block, first function is hello. Another function is welcome. Those are the functions we created. Na? One is hello, another one welcome. We have to import these two functions from where? From the module file, the module name. The module is we have to come out of this folder and go to library. In library there is modules. In module there is demo module.js. That means we have to put dot slash in that what? Library, in that modules, in that demo module.js. Like this we are defining. Actually, this is the module file .js. I'm not using that JS. I'm just using demo module. Just module name I am giving. Now here two functions are there. Just we are calling those functions. What is it? Hello. Hello. That's it. Another function is welcome. We are calling those two functions here. Now let's run this and see. I will run this and see now. This index.js, you can run from terminal. I am just opening a command prompt. So I will just open the command prompt here. Yeah. What is it? Node index.js. Node index.js. It is showing some message. It is saying that cannot import a statement outside the module. Actually, because this is generally we are having demo module.js, that is module name and the file that contains the module, right? We need to configure the file here. I will run this again now. So node index.js, you can see the same message it is showing, cannot import statement outside module. But actually we are having the module. But why it is saying you cannot import this? Because a module system is not taking control. Which module system have to take control? Common.js or require.js or UMD or AMD. For that you need a compiler. You need a JavaScript compiler. A compiler provides a module system. Through that module system it will run. Node compiler is not suitable. Node compiler is not suitable because we are currently using node compiler. Node compiler is not suitable because this node compiler is using a different module system. That is the reason this node compiler is unable to recognize the module system that you given. Actually, according to node compiler, module systems are different. Currently we are using which compiler? Node. You remembered at the time of ESLint configuration, it asked us specially which compiler you want to use. That is the reason, according to the compiler, it will set the module system. Then if your module system and node module system is not matching, remember, import doesn't belong to node module system. Actually, node module system uses require. Node module system uses require. It will not use import. That means import is not related to node module system. That is the reason node compiler saying that I can't do this. Then who will do that? Our browser can do it, because our browser supports the common.js module system, because JavaScript is using which module system? Common.js. Let's do that. I will same concept. Let's remove from here. Go to your index.html page. In this index.html page, now what we are doing, this is HTML page. In this index.html page, so what we are doing here, so we are trying to put here script. And this script is going to use a module system. If this script is going to use a module system, you have to define script type as module. You have to define script type as module. That is what you need to do. After that, now we have to import. What to import? Import hello. Okay, next what? Welcome. From where? From dot dot slash. It is present in index na. Index is directly present, means directly you can access dot slash. Dot slash means same folder. In that there is library. In that library we have modules. In that modules we are having the file name. What is the file name? Demo module.js. Now in these two functions are there. What are the functions? Hello, another function is welcome. These two are the functions. But observe carefully, in that module system, hello is returning a string. Na? Hello is returning a string. Then we have to print that string. We need to print that string. How do we print the string? So if it is returning a string, calling that hello is not enough. What we have to do? Document dot write. Right. What we want to print? Hello. That's what we are doing. HTML page. That means we are running that HTML page. You can see some error will be there here. I will show you here in the console. Let's go to the console. In the console, you can see here, fail to execute write on document. That means why it is saying fail to execute, but welcome to JavaScript modules working. That means which function is working? This welcome is working. So this is not working because this module can print message in the same document. It cannot print in a new screen. Document.write is a new screen. Na? It cannot print on a new screen. How to print in the same screen? To print in the same screen, we will put a heading. In this heading, we want to display. Then how to access that heading? Document.query selector. What is that query selector? Heading. In heading inner HTML, we will call hello and print that. We are doing this. Then it is printing it. This is all module system. Why it haven't worked in our Node compiler? Because Node compiler is using a different module system. Our JavaScript module system is CommonJS, and browser also uses the same module system. So it runs smoothly here. So you can practice on this type of approach, right? Now here, welcome to, why I showed console? Because here output we are displaying in console. Na? We are displaying in console. What we can do, this welcome also, we can return a string. Am I right? If we can return this welcome also as string, then what you can do here in index, this welcome also we can print in some paragraph. Okay. We will put a paragraph. In that paragraph, we want to display document dot what? Document dot query selector. We have query selector. What is it? Paragraph. In paragraph inner HTML, we are printing what? Welcome. Welcome is going to return here, and you can see it is going to work there. Very important. If you don't mention script type as module, browser cannot understand. Because all these days when you use JavaScript, you may be using directly script type as text JavaScript. That is not enough. It will not work. Text type, script type must be module. Then only module system will work. If you put script, so generally script type is what? Text JavaScript. This script type text JavaScript cannot work. It cannot work. script type must be what it must be module. It must be module, then only it will work. If you don't mention the script type, default type is JavaScript. If default type is JavaScript, it will not work. You have to mention module type, then only it will work. This is module system. At high level in real world projects, JavaScript is used like this. We don't write JavaScript directly in a page. We will first build a module. In that we will write all the functions. We just import that module and use those functions. We don't generally write directly in the pages. That's what you learned actually. Right? When you learned JavaScript, you learned embedded separate JavaScript file. You linked that JavaScript file here. But in module system, we don't link the JavaScript file. We import the JavaScript file. I think you have done in your JavaScript, what you have done to use any JavaScript file, you used script tag. Na? Script source is equal to some name.js. Am I right? This is not required now. You don't need to do this. Just import and use. That means what you have to do after you configure this, you have to import and use. So what you can do, so I will give an example now. So I will give one example. First step, what you have to do, I will give here. First, you need to create a new folder. The folder is library. In library, what? Modules. And after that, add a new file. And file name is demo module.js. In this demo module.js, I will copy this code. I will keep this code. Several more points are there. We will see. Okay. After that, I am adding next. So simply index.html. In that we have to import and we have to use. I will copy that index.html. Don't try directly because our node modules are different. Node module system is different and browser JavaScript module system is different. JavaScript is using which module system? Common JS. Browsers have default that module system, so it will smoothly run there. Later in, if you want, you can install that module system for Node.js and Node.js also can use it. Currently default Node.js is not supporting that module system, so you can't do that. So better you try in a HTML. Now in a page, you can import any number of modules. Any number of modules you can import, you can use in your project. For example, see, this is demo module. I will create another module. I will give the name as math module.js. In math module, I am creating export function. So addition. This function is taking A and B and it is returning A plus B. That is how we define. That means we are creating, and you can use your shorthand techniques. Shorthand techniques means here important is how do you can use shorthand technique. Yesterday we learned. So we have learned constant. Suppose addition is equal to a function a comma b and it returns what? A plus b. This is shortcut. Now how do we access this now? Just we need to keep it what? Export. Export. That means now you are exporting a variable that contains a function. That contains a function. And what is that function name? Addition. Now how to use this in our index page? You don't need to link. You have to just import. In import, what I am importing? I am importing addition. Addition I am importing. Addition. Okay. Addition from where? So it is from dot slash, what is it? Library. In that what? Modules. In modules, what is it? Math module.js. Now this addition result we will print in paragraph only. I will just put a plus BR. BR will put a line break. I will call addition. Into that I am passing 20, 30, 40. Now actually it is going to return that 60 result and show. That means we are using some more detail, like some addition is equal to whatever addition is there, then it will display that. So we can import modules from different places in one place, and we can import the functions. It's not necessary to import all functions in a module. In a module, 50 functions are there. You will import only what is necessary for you. That is what modular approach. Modular approach means only the library that is needed for you, you can import. You are importing that JavaScript file. It doesn't mean that all functions are imported. Only what you need, you can import. Only what is needed, you can import. For example, in this, suppose, let's go in this math module, we are defining export some constant. So suppose total is a function. It will take quantity and it will take price, and it will return so quantity into price. It is going to return quantity into price. It's not necessary that we have to use it. That means I am not using that here. It is not imported here until or unless you manually import it. For example, I am not marking as export. If I don't mark as export, can I import that? Try. Let's see what is it. What is the function? Total. When I define total, and you can see this total I want to print. Suppose I want to print in a div. Okay. Now I will access the div. Document dot query selector. What is it? Div. In div inner HTML, we need to access what is it? Total. And in the total, suppose I am just printing like total is equal to what is it? Total. Total into that quantity 2 and price is 5,000. Like this we pass. Now you can see that it is not working here. It says that doesn't provide an export by name total. Because total is a function, but it is not marked as export, then you cannot use it. So that means you can use it inside that module, but you cannot access and use outside. For that, what you have to do, you have to mark it as export. When I mark as export, now it is available. It will perform that functionality and it will display. So it is important to configure any member in a module with export. That is important. We have to export and we have to import. So I will create another module here. What is that module? So math module.js. In math module.js, I am adding these two lines. Okay, then in the index, I need to do some more changes. In the index, I will do these two things. I will copy those two lines. So these two lines I am pasting there. Same. Just some changes I have done. This time we are importing. One more. We have to import at the top. What we need to import at the top? Addition and total. Addition and total we have to import so that we can use it. Here, one more important is there. Another important point is every module can have one default export. Every module can have one default export. Actually, default export is used for eager loading. Normal export is lazy loading. Lazy loading means it will load into memory only when it is called. Eager loading means it is loaded into memory even before it is called. That means some functions we want to get ready before they called, so that we can start using them fastly later. In that case, what you can do is, here you can see here, interesting is, in that module, math module, we have addition total. Two functions are there. Any one function you can mark it as default. You can mark it as default. Now, when I mark it as default, you can see it is showing expression is expected. Why? Because default can be marked, but it is not for variable. It is for a function. But it is actually what? It is a variable. Na? It is a variable which is using a function. In that variable reference, there is a function. So here you can do only export. But if any function is there, you can make, for example, welcome, we can make it as default. That is fine. Any function or any class you can make as default. Variables cannot be default, because in a variable you can have a function, but it cannot be default. Variable can use declare, they cannot use default. They cannot use default. Declare later in React you will learn. So variables can use declare, but variables cannot use default. Only functions and classes can use default. Now the question is, what is the meaning of default? The meaning of default means this will be loaded and ready before it is called. That means any one function in a module can be ready before it is called. Before it is called. In that case, you cannot access like this. Now you cannot access like this. That means you can write like this. What is it? Export default. Default is what? Function and the function name, some function name. Now, how do we import this function? You are writing import in the curly brace. You are using the function name. Am I right? And you are saying from and the module name, module.js. And actually this is invalid. Why this is invalid? Because if any function is marked as default, you have to import without curly brace block. Without block, that means you have to import like this. Import name from module.js. This is valid. Any default member is there. You cannot import in a block. What is the meaning of block? What is the meaning of block? Block says when to start and when to stop. What is meaning of default? You are not telling start and stop. It should start automatically. Then how you can give a block? Understood? What is the purpose of default? Default means start automatically. Then how you can write a block? Because block indicates start here, stop here. Right? Default means no start stop. It will start automatically, it will end automatically. It will start and stop automatically. This is eager, right? Then in that case, you cannot put a curly brace like this. That means you see now here, interestingly, now in your index page, you will find an error. The error is saying that welcome cannot be accessed. Why welcome cannot be accessed? Because it is marked as default. I cannot write like this now. I need to remove from the block. After that, you can write here default. You can write here, what is it? Welcome. After that, welcome. And we need to keep welcome and comma. That is how we define. Because it is a default function, you can't put a start stop. You should write outside. Now you can see it is working fine. There is no problem. That means the welcome to JavaScript modules, it is working fine. If you try to put this inside this block, it will not work. Because if any member is marked as default, that must be outside. And very, very important here, again, similar rules will be there. Every module can have only one default. Every module can have only one default. There cannot be two default. You cannot have two default, only one default, others are not default. That means, for example, let's try to mark this hello also as default. Then you can see again there is an error, duplicate export of default. Duplicate export of default error is coming, means it is saying that two default cannot be there, only one can be there. Suppose I try here like this, that means you see in index.html I will remove this start and stop. It is not valid. It is not valid because two defaults cannot be there, no chance. There can be only one default. That means either you can put default, which one, hello, but because already there is welcome, duplicate is there now. That means in a library, first make sure that there are no two defaults. There is only one. Only one. Anyone you can give. I put hello as default and remove welcome. Now how to access in index? Hello is common, okay, comma, and we have to put a welcome. Welcome should be in the block. If there are more than one, you can put here comma. But one more important point is this default must be loaded first. After that, others. That means now I will remove from here. I will put comma and I will say hello. It is not valid. That means default must be loaded first. After that, only others. That means default import cannot be at the end. Cannot be at the end. So it must be before. That means before only. That means you have to write here. What is it? Hello, comma. That means you cannot define at the end. Same like rest parameters I told you. It cannot be last parameter. It must be last. Last. That means here another important point is default can be along with others. Along with others. Default can be along with others. That means how do we do? We write like this. Import. What is that import? One is default name. Sorry, this is default name. After that, we can define a normal name from the module.js. This is just syntax I'm giving, right? And for example, here another point is default must be declared first. Default must be declared first. That is compulsory. That means if I say import and name and I keep default name and from and the module.js and this is invalid. That is invalid. You have to keep default name first and after that this. This is very important. So every function can be defined to export, but every function cannot be defined to default. Only one function can be default. And when you define default, the way of importing also will change. So when a library is given to you, it is very important to understand if it is a default, then use default technique to import. This is all everyday work in our React, Angular like technologies, because they are using libraries and frameworks. Every day you have to work with modules. Every single frame belongs to module. Everything with module only. You will be using existing libraries. You will be using your own libraries. You will build a library and you will use it. You will use ready-made libraries provided by React. Then we have to learn how to use. That is the concept of modules, right? In a module, what are the options here? In a module, you can have, in a module, you can have functions, you can have values, values. But at high level, only functions and values are not enough. Generally, at high level, we create classes, we configure the classes. So in object oriented programming, so we need to understand another important is class. Is it clear? Module, right? So you have to learn two things: how to create a module, how to add the functions into the module, how do we configure with export and default, and how to import and how to use, right? This is the process you need to maintain. Okay, next important, to practice this, you import modules into a HTML file. You import the modules into a HTML file and use it, because module system issues will come, because our ES6 and higher version of JavaScript uses CommonJS, and that is the module system of browser. Browsers, every browser by default have CommonJS. So that is simple and easy to handle. Okay, right. Now, next important, after learning how to write a module, in module, there will be not only just only functions and variables. In a module, we will have class. In a module, we will have class. Actually, at high level, we build the library with the module with classes. What is a class in object oriented programming? In object oriented programming, class is a program template. Class is a program template. Technically, class is a program template. In object oriented programming, class is called as a program template. A program template means what? Template comprises of sample data and logic, which you can implement and customize according to requirements. That is the concept of a class. Generally, class is a template. We generally call class as a template, and this template contains some sample data and logic, which you can implement and you can customize according to your requirement. Actually, class is used as an entity. Class is used as a model. Class is used as a it is used as blueprint. That means how a class is used, that you are telling as a definition. You are not telling what is a class, you are telling how it is used. Means majority of OOP learners have this definition: class is a blueprint. Class is not a blueprint. Class is used as a blueprint. It is not a blueprint. So class is a template. Actually, class can have three behaviors. It is a blueprint behavior or entity or model. Actually, when we call this generally, suppose for example, we have some business requirements. We have some business requirements. According to this business requirements, we are designing some data. According to the business requirements, we are designing data. That means we are preparing some data according to the business requirements. So this is actually data. Now what our developer have to do is, our developer need to write a class. This class must able to communicate with the business requirements. It must able to communicate with the data. If a class is designed to communicate with business requirements, then it is called entity. And if a class is designed to communicate with the data requirements, then it is called model. Is class a model always? No. Is class a entity always? No. Class is a model only when it is mapping to data. A class is considered as an entity when it is mapping to business. Majority of your libraries map to business. That is the reason in business requirements, class is called as an logical entity. Technically speaking, class is a logical entity. But more than logical entity, first it is a template. Class is a template. A template means it contains sample data and logic which you can implement and inject. Why learners will call class as a blueprint? Because they are using that class to create so many duplicate objects, similar type of objects, and they think that it is a blueprint. Right? That is how their trainer also will tell them, because at learning level, that definition is enough. Like class is a blueprint means you put a one class, you create several objects for that class, and through that you can access and use it. But that is not technical definition. Technically, class is never called as a blueprint. It is called as an template. In any programming technology in the world, class is a template. Simple. And class have the behavior of entities. Class have the behavior of model. If it is mapping to business requirements, then it is entity. If it is mapping to data requirements, then it is model. So this I will tell you now. We can see that concept here. See, how do we define a class? Generally, class is configured like this. In JavaScript, how do we define a class? Let's create a simple module now. I will create a module, a new module. I will give the module as product module. Okay, .js. This is product module. Now in this module, we are creating a class. And the class name is product. This class can contain some members. But here interesting point is, actually in a class you can keep data and logic. The main purpose of class is to keep data and logic. In many interviews, they ask this question, actually, can you declare a variable in a class? Can we declare a variable in a class? Because variables are used for storing data. Can we declare a variable in class? You cannot. You cannot declare a variable in class. You can see var x equal to 10. It is not allowed. Can you declare a function in class? You cannot declare a function in class. So function name not allowed. You cannot have a variable. You cannot have a function in class. Actually, technically, class can have, class can have only following members. What are the members of a class? A class can have property. A class can have accessor. A class can have constructor, and a class can have method. Nothing else other than that. These are only the class members. A class cannot have anything else other than this. Actually, these are class members. A class can have a property or an accessor or a constructor or a method. Only these are allowed in a class. You can define these. If anybody asked why variable is not directly allowed in a class, why variable cannot be a class member? So variable cannot be a class member. Var x equal to 10, it cannot be a class member. You can declare this outside class. but you cannot declare this inside class. Inside class, it's not possible. Why variable cannot be declared in a class? Because variables are immutable. Variables are immutable. What is a class? Class is a template. I told you that class is a template. Template means what? It will provide you data which you can customize according to your requirements. If it is a immutable, how you will customize? Understood? That is the reason any immutable member is not directly allowed in class. Because class is a template, it needs only mutable members. Mutable means they can be changed. Because class is a template which must be changed, which is intended to change. Any immutable member is not allowed in a class. So that is the reason function also not allowed in a class. But interesting point here, see here, I am declaring a method called print. Print is a method. This print method having var x equal to 10. Now it is working. Now it is working. Is x is variable class member? Variable is not class member. Here variable is the member of a method called print. So that is why it is working. So it is not a class member at all. Only class members means there can be only 4. What are those? Properties, methods, accessor, and constructor. Anything else not allowed. But if anybody asks, this is tricky question. If anybody asks, can we have a variable in class? You can have a variable in class, but not as a class member. Understood? We can have a variable in class, but not as a class member. Can we have a function in class? Yes, but not as class member. Class member means direct members of class. Direct members of class can be a method, can be a property, can be a accessor, or can be a constructor. What are these 4? I will tell you one by one. We will discuss that because this is very, very important. In React, you have to work with these things regularly. Without knowledge of this concept of class and function, you can't touch React. You need to be very strong in all the rules. You need to be very strong in all the features of that particular class, right? Because every day React works with these classes. Now we will see what are the members of class one by one. Means first we will see what is a property, what is an accessor, constructor, and method. That we'll see in next session, right? Tomorrow we will do that. Okay. In tomorrow's session, if we can learn all these, now you are ready for React, right? It will take 1 or 2 days more. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will finish this OOP concept. Then we can start working with React now, right? But for that React, you need to be very strong in this concept. Module system, properties, accessors, constructors, and methods. Classes and functions are very important. Okay. Then tomorrow we will continue with this. And from tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will share a new classroom link. Our classroom link will change, right? As of now, today continue with the same old link. Tomorrow I will share a new link with you. All the notes will be in that link. Once we start React, I will change the link. All React related will be separate link. Okay. Up to that, you can follow this previous. Okay. Right.